I love you. 3 words, so powerful they can make or break a relationship. How often do you say it? This is Rizu, my sister. She is 4 years older than me, and from the moment I was born, we were inseparable. Literally. Spending every breathing second together, we created a bond that felt like no one could ever break. As we grew up, life continued. We lived our separate lives with our own hobbies, and since we lived under the same roof, we would frequently share details about our own lives during our sleepovers. We had our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, we would always make up, hang out, and resolve our problems easily. Then came the unexpected. My mother shared with me the tragic news that I was moving away to an unfamiliar place that was going to be more unfamiliar without my sister. At that moment, we realized the times we did not cherish had to be made up in the short span of just 2 weeks. Car rides while blasting music, beach walks at night, and late night talks. We tried to make up for the lost time. We grew closer in these 2 weeks, but it was cut short by my move. At this moment, my sister was going through a tough time settling into university alone, and I was having a tough time settling into Tokyo, so my sister and I would FaceTime almost every single day, keeping each other updated. Eventually, as I started school and started to make new friends, I stopped texting my sister so often. We started to drift, and the distance between us was not only geographically but now emotionally. In November of 2019, my sister visited Tokyo for a bit. After not seeing her for around 6 months, I was thrilled. I took her around, however, when she came to ASIJ to watch my field hockey game, I did not show my appreciation. Instead, I gave her the cold shoulder and talked to my friends instead. Once she returned back to Australia, I had realized just how much I had taken her visit for granted. Still, I made no effort to strengthen our connection. Our relationship from that moment on remained the same, mundane and sort of distant. We would rarely call or text each other. I consumed my life with work and friends to keep me busy, and she did the same. The only insight into her life would be through her Instagram account or if my mom was just calling her. In 2020, I was hoping to take a quick trip back to Australia. However, that idea was quickly turned down as the COVID-19 pandemic had closed the borders. The coronavirus continued to spread and worsen, restricting me to my house. This continued for a solid 1.5 years, and after not seeing my sister for almost 3 years, I started to feel lonely. My source of comfort was stripped away once again. However, this summer, the summer of 2022, I was finally able to book tickets to go back to Australia. I was over the moon. Everything we missed out on in the past almost 3 years could be fulfilled. The late night talks and blasting music in the car, it was all going to become a reality once again. Although I only stayed for a week, we tried to spend as much time as we could together. It was a bit awkward at the beginning, but as we spent more time together, our connection grew stronger. When that short week was over, I was obviously upset. As soon as I returned back to Tokyo, we would FaceTime almost every single day. Felt like I was back in 2019 again. However, as I started school again and became busy, the same thing happened. We stopped talking as much. I stopped updating her as often, and so did she. The sense of loneliness started to creep back into my life. This time, I was not gonna let our relationship shrivel and fade away. So for the past couple of weeks, I have been trying to strengthen and deepen our relationship regardless of the busyness of our lives. My efforts were greatly inspired by the game We're Not Really Strangers. These quotes would occasionally prompt conversation on iMessages. Amidst our busy lives, it was hard to find time for a call, but we eventually set a date.
And it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet.
If you could have it your way, who would you be with, where would you be, and what would you be doing?
If I could be anywhere right now, I would be with you and Jacob in somewhere in Japan, like a random place in Japan. What would we be doing? Anything. Like, I don't care. Like, just running around being weirdos. That's what I would be doing. I think sometimes you get in your head too much and you need to, like, just relax, you know, and not, like, concentrate so much on, like, what you have to do and, like, what other people are doing and stuff like that. You just have to be like, okay, just detox.
Rizu has always been the type of person to put people before herself. She leads with kindness, strength, and love. I think this is why I appreciate her so much. She provides so much insight and a different perspective on life. I learned so much from her and I cannot thank her enough. For that, for everything, I love you.